Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Wilfred Chimbayo. You are a participant to this training on the monitoring and the communicating of river water status. As someone who is coming from, is it Lilongwe Water Board? Northern Region Water Board. Can you just explain to us how important is this kind of training vis-a-vis the status of various water sources, including rivers, in the country?
This training is very important because currently in Malawi we are facing a lot of challenges when it comes to water. This water monitoring is not only important for utilities like water boards and ESCOM, but it's also important to monitor water sources, especially rivers, because some of the users of this water are just lay people who are situated downstream. So monitoring water is very important for decision making. For water boards, it's about the type of treatment when it comes to quality, and for quantity it's about catchments. So if river water is monitored, then it means we can have an indication on how best we can protect our catchments from destruction and encroachment, as well as making sure that our river water quality is on point.
Who bears the responsibility? You have rightly said ensuring quality water starts from the catchment. Who bears or who showed us this responsibility to ensure that the catchment is conserved so that the water in the sources, rivers, dams are really of high quality?
The responsibility lies in all of us. It doesn't rest only on the water boards or authorities. Most of the people who destroy catchments or who encroach are us, people on the roads, people in the streets, people in the villages. So the responsibility doesn't lie only on water boards and councils or authorities, but it much lies on us, the people on the ground. So it's our responsibility to protect catchments as well as rivers from pollution. So it's our responsibility.
Now, looking at a broader picture, how we have conserved our rivers and the various other sources of water. In a very few seconds, what would you recommend for people to be doing as ensuring that the sources are really conserved?
I can recommend that our catchment areas be protected, as well as making sure that there are means of waste collection as well as disposal, because it's this waste that is not taken care of that pollutes the rivers. So if catchments are well protected from encroachment as well as destruction, in that way we will make sure that both quality and quantity of water in Malawi is maintained.
Tifotokozereni mukuchita nawo maphunziro oyang'ana bwinobwino ati kuchita monitor nkhani yakasamalidwe ka madzi mwina mitsinje, madamu kumene ndi malo ena osiyanasiyana kumene anthu amatengako madzi. Mukuona kuti maphunziro amene wandofunikira bwanji tikayang'ana nkhani imene yosamalira madzi?
Maphunziro amenewa ndofunikira kwa basi chifukwa chakuti atithandiza kupeza njira zotetezera mitsinje yathu komanso mmene malo monse mmene machokera madzi. Malo amene amachokera madziwa ndi malo osiyanasiyana, amafunika kutetezedwa kuti anthu asamangemo nyumba olo asadule mitengo. Cholinga ndi chakuti madzi athu akhale amulingo oyenera kuti azigwiritsidwa ntchito zosiyanasiyana, kwambiri ngati kwa water board komanso anthu ena amene amagwiritsa ntchito madziwo pa njira zosiyanasiyana, kaya kuthirira, ena pomwe kumene kuyuza zitsime, ena amangomwa straight kuchokera mitsinjemo. So zizi ndizofunika kwa basi chifukwa kuti zimene data amene atazitoleredwa from kufufuza kwa status ya mitsinje yathu ndiyothandiza ku zonse mbali ya mulingo wa madzi amene timatenga komanso quality ya madzi athu.
Mwachidule mitsinje kapena malo ena kumene anthu timapezako madzi, malo amene akuonongeka munjira ziti ndi ziti mutangopereka chithunzithunzi, ndipo chofunika kuti chichitike kuti malo amene wawa monga mmene mwanenera kuti asamalidwe, chofunika kuti chichitike ndi chani?
Mitsinje yathu ikutsika chifukwa choti anthu tingodula mitengo mosasamala. Zimenezi zimapangitsa kuti malo mmene machokera makasupe mmene madzi aja amachokera muzitsika pang'ono-pang'ono. Zimenezi zimachepetsa mulingo wathu ndi kwambiri mitsinje imauma, madzi amene amatuluka kuchokera mitsinje amakhala ochepa, komanso madzi yake samakhala abwino kuti munthu ukagwiritsa ntchito amakhala oyipa. Ndefo kuchokera kwa ineyo ndipempha kuti malo anzanga chonde titeteze malo amene madzi amachokera, komanso tisamange nyumba kapena kugula malo oti madzi athu amachokera. Zimene zitithandiza kuteteza malo amenewa kuti tikhale ndi madzi odalirika komanso aukhondo, kuti tipewe matenda komanso tikhale ndi madzi nthawi zonse. Madzi ndi moyo.
Can you first introduce yourself?
Jean-Marie Kileshionema. I'm the executive manager for WaterNet, which is the SADC program for capacity building in water resources management.
Thank you so much for your time, for accepting this interview. One or two objectives why you guys, WaterNet, have decided maybe with other stakeholders to organize this kind of training on monitoring and communicating of river and other sources of water, the status of rivers and other sources of water. What's the objective? Why this kind of training?
This training is actually being done on behalf of the SADC Water Division, and the objective is really to capacitate further all the 15 nationals, or rather say the national from the 15 SADC countries. As you probably are aware, we have all the SADC countries, at least 10 of them that are represented in the training. And the objective is really to equip all the various participants so that they can better manage their water resources in terms of water quality, especially in this case.
In the SADC region, what are some of the critical major challenges that water sources like rivers are having to face, while at the same time sustaining life, but maybe facing challenges? What are some of the challenges that rivers are having to face?
One of the key elements which is very important every time to remember when you're talking about water resources is the fact that it's not only about quantity. Water, it's not about quantity only. It's about quantity and quality. And some of the concerns that you are experiencing in the SADC region, they have to do also with quality. You have water resources, river courses that are polluted. So you have that need to indeed monitor the status of water resources so that the ecosystem can continue to provide the services for the well-being of the population.
Are the SADC countries doing enough in terms of containing the pollution that is being experienced presently?
In fact, it's one of the reasons why we're trying to bring some of the officials working on the day-to-day with water resources monitoring so that they can indeed improve. There's room for improvement. Currently, various efforts that you're having in different SADC countries are not always adequate to contain some of the adverse effects of pollution. So there's a need to further strengthen the capacity of the people working on the ground in monitoring river health. That's the reason indeed we have put together participants from various countries so that they can also learn from experience, challenges and success stories from various countries so that they can enrich each other from exchanging their own experiences.
One of the objectives of the training is to do with communicating messages to several stakeholders. On this communication, really, who should be concerned?
Indeed, you see, unless you communicate properly, you cannot reach your objectives. So one of the objectives here, in fact, is to tell the scientists that you should package your information in a way that it can be indeed taken easily by the public. It's not about coming up with sophisticated results, but it's indeed to be able to communicate up to the grassroots level. That's why you see that there's a strong component of citizen sciences, because you see, you cannot monitor as an official from the government. You need the people on the ground to be involved to own this process. But for them to be able to do that effectively, you need to adequately communicate what are the concerns and what are the issues, so that it's no longer something to do with a few individuals, but it's something to do with everybody, because in fact water affects everybody.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
But then you'll not be looking at the sun. You'll be looking at
Believe me, I know my eyes. I'm warning you before.
Okay. It's a brief one, a short interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Victoria Shifidi, thank you so much for your time. You are a participant to this training. How beneficial, how important is it giving experiences of issues of conservation of river resources like water resources like rivers back home? All right.
Yeah.
How important do you find this meeting?
Yeah, it's very critical actually. Namibia is the driest country, this south of the Sahara. Think of the Namib Desert, then you have an idea. And most of our, actually all of our major rivers are shared with other countries. Our internal rivers are ephemeral, so we can't really harness much of that. They don't have a lot of potential in terms of water supply. So this integrated water resources management for us, monitoring and then communication of the health and the status of the river, be it in terms of its quantity or the quality of the water, it's very critical, because we depend on our upstream users on whatever they pass down to us. We should collectively make sure that it's of quality that we can use, and quantity is sufficient. So that is one. And pollution, as we know it, is threatening water security in Africa as a whole. And not only in Namibia, where water scarcity is a huge concern, but again, in other countries, you might have a lot of water, but then again, to have a lot of water which is of bad quality is as good as not having that water at all, because you have to pass it through several purification processes, and that takes up a lot of African resources, again, money, which we don't really have enough of. So we have to monitor the status of our rivers so that we can manage them better for the betterment of our people. So it's very critical.
Okay. How is communication when it comes to issues of water in Namibia?
It could be better. It could be better. One of the challenges, how to then, if we monitor the rivers in offices, and then the information is maybe readily available within us in the sector, or even between different stakeholders or between different countries. I think we should go beyond that and see how is that information trickling down to the people in, whether in rural areas or, to the people at the grassroots level. Are they getting the information they're supposed to getting in a manner that they're supposed to be getting? Are they even understanding the languages that we use? Do we have to perhaps rethink our strategies in terms of communication to make sure that we're not only talking, but we are actually communicating with the people and not to the people, and make the communities partners in water resources management? Then if they understand why we do certain things, they can meet us halfway in terms of managing the resources better, because they know it's our resources as a collective, not some resources that belong to the governments or to some organizations, but it's their resources as well. And yeah, I think that could be bettered.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
It was simple.
Mr. Lilongwe, thank you so much for your time. You are participating in this workshop. How important is it in relation to conservation of water? I want you to have a picture of what's happening back home.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. Yeah, this training course is very important to our nation, Zimbabwe, in the sense that you are all aware that we are in an era of the changing climate. And with that, we are seeing changing trends in terms of rainfalls, in terms of our inflows into our dams, in terms of the storage itself within the dams and the rivers. What am I saying about this is, with the climate change phenomenon, we happen to receive above normal rainfalls or below normal rainfalls. And so as a country, we are also experiencing that. And regarding Zimbabwe per se, like last season, we received above normal rainfalls, to the extent that currently most of our dams are just above 70%. And we are almost close to the beginning of another season, rainfall season. We are just near, just a month or two. And with that scenario, we can see a lot of problems in terms of flooding, in terms of breaching of our dams, in terms of losses of lives and property through flooding. Because the outlook currently from our Met department within our country indicated that we are likely to receive normal to above normal rainfalls in most parts of the country. And with that, we need to be geared up in terms of how to communicate very crucial information regarding the safety of property, safety of our human beings, and also wildlife. Because people at the grassroots, they don't have enough information when they are faced with disasters. And through these trainings, we are expecting to be equipped with those technologies or those systems that are quite modern, so that we can reach out to everyone within the boundaries of our country, if not the origin. And with this with the program or the training, we are 10 countries from the SADC, and we are also expecting to have like a standard of communicating and monitoring our rivers in terms of high flows and low flows, so that we can upgrade our region. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Was supposed to have a role, but it's have been split. The first part on 3 groups, and after lunch we're supposed to work in groups. All right. Various means of monitoring river status taking place in our countries, and then we'll come back in plenary. Our apologies for that. We will not advise you to a compromised state of well-being. Oh, it can be in a very robust state of well-being. It's just like the way we a compromised state of well-being. Oh, it can be in a very robust state of well-being. It's just like the way we However, from time immemorial, historically, man has been dependent on rivers. Slowly reducing. The amount of fish associated with that river is slowly reducing. As a system, receiving inputs, which in most cases is in the form of you have a drought, okay, that has hit that particular river ecosystem. But we 10 years down the line, we find that the river has not in our river ecosystems. We have industries. Man depends on industries, which of course